From Toy Guru, a Netflix-like subscription for toys, to the breathometer that checks your blood alcohol level, these are the most insane fails from Shark Tank. Being on the ABC show is a dream come true for any entrepreneur. While some lucky ones do get the major Benjamin investment they're looking for, not all of them succeed. Take Toy Guru, for example. This product took some serious inspiration from Netflix's subscription magic. The idea was that parents could easily order toys with a super cool interactive feature, making the whole process fast and convenient. People were super pumped and kept buzzing about it on social media like crazy. Nikki Pope, the awesome entrepreneur behind it, totally blew away the sharks with her impressive presentation skills, giving her some major props. She managed to seal the deal and everyone was excited. But the whole plan started falling apart because of some seriously bad planning and expectations that were way too high. Turns out, trying to compete with other similar services wasn't easy at all. Other companies with similar toy subscription ideas were kicking butt and taking names in the industry, leaving poor Toy Guru in the dust. Things got so rough that the company eventually had to declare bankruptcy because the costs of production, manufacturing, and marketing were like a wild roller coaster she couldn't handle. Eventually, Pope had to say goodbye to the brand and move on to other things, leaving Toy Guru behind in the toy aisle. While this might have been a risky investment, the next company came with a pretty sweet approach, which is why none of the sharks could resist investing in Sweet Balls. These guys blew everyone away on Shark Tank with their delicious cake balls. I mean, who could resist those heavenly treats? But a major disaster struck when the founders, Cole Egger and James McDonald, started having a massive falling out. Drama alert, McDonald got all worked up and actually sued Egger for secretly starting another company called Cake Balls without giving him a heads up. Things got even more intense when both of them went and filed restraining orders against each other. It was like a reality TV show playing out in real life. And guess what? James came out on top in the legal battle. Cole had to shut down Cake Balls, and McDonald took over Sweet Balls as a side gig. Now, these guys had it all: a killer product, a successful appearance on Shark Tank, and a golden opportunity to rake in the dough and attract customers. But their epic feud blew it all away. It was a total bummer. Now, the sharks definitely have a sweet tooth, but they can't deny that exercise is important. So when she heard the words weight loss, Barbara was all in with the Body Jack. This nifty invention was like a super cool gadget that specifically targets different muscles. Basically, it helps you work out without wrecking your joints or spine. Pretty clever, right? Now, the guy behind it, Jack Barringer, had quite the journey. He managed to shed some pounds thanks to Barbara Cochran's advice. So Barringer followed her guidance and scored himself a deal. He was probably feeling pretty pumped about it, you know? But even though he got the deal, the sales and customers didn't come flooding in. It's like Body Jack just couldn't catch a break, and Barbara ended up regretting her decision to invest in it. She straight up called it one of her worst agreements. Ouch, that's gotta sting. To make matters worse, the Body Jack eventually went belly up. Jack tried to turn things around by changing up the strategy, but even that didn't work out. Poor guy. He attempted to sell the company, hoping to make some moolah, but unfortunately, he couldn't find any takers. Getting enough sales isn't easy, and the owner of Show No Towels can relate. Back in 2012, Shelley Eller pitched this amazing product for little kids who needed to change in public places, like at the swimming pool. It was called Show No Towels, and it was a super handy towel poncho combo. Everybody was pretty impressed. Now, here's where things get really exciting. Shelley managed to win over the sharks on the show, but you know who she decided to team up with? None other than the fabulous Lori Greiner. Lori was so impressed that she gave Eller a whopping $50,000 right then and there. Talk about making history. No one has ever received money on the spot like that before. But unfortunately, things didn't quite go as planned for Shelley. Even though she had a ton of determination, she lacked the experience and know-how to make her brand grow and keep up with her competitors. Because let's face it, the business world can be tough. So her company ended up shutting down, and sadly, it never got back on its feet. Speaking of privacy for kids, the next company thought of something a little more advanced: privacy between partners. With cheating a pretty common issue, it's no wonder that Kate App got so much interest from the sharks. You won't believe the story behind it. So, there was this guy named Neil Desai, right? One day, his friend spilled the beans about his unfaithful wife, and that got Neil thinking. He came up with a genius idea to create an app that could hide or even delete text messages. You know, to save people from getting caught in their secret conversations with their partners. Sneaky, huh? Well, let me tell you, the app became a sensation. People were all over it, dying to get their hands on those nifty features. But while it seemed like a dream come true at first, Kate app turned out to be a bit of a nightmare. Yep, it had some serious glitches that spilled the beans on all those secret messages. Talk about a major letdown. And that's not all. Some clever users managed to find loopholes in the app's restrictions, totally invading other people's privacy. It was like a game for them, figuring out ways to bypass the system. So, in the end, Kate app couldn't hold its ground against the competition and couldn't prove itself worthy, leaving its creator scratching his head and wondering what went wrong. But the next guy knew exactly where the problem was. In fact, the moment he stepped off the stage, he should have accepted a deal with the sharks. William Strange rocked the stage on Shark Tank with his brilliant idea called 365 Underwear. Basically, he wanted to hook guys up with a fresh supply of underwear on the regular. But his problem was a little different. This dude was juggling two startup businesses at once. Smart or reckless? During his pitch, the sharks showered him with suggestions. But our man William realized he could only handle one venture effectively. It was decision time, my friends. With all the guidance and feedback he received, he had to pick the project with the most potential to succeed. Guess what? The guest sharks, Naomi Simpson and Janine Alice, were blown away by his idea, and they made him a juicy offer. But hold your horses. Things took an unexpected turn behind the scenes. Later on, William spilled the beans about why he turned down the deal. Even though the sharks were interested, he straight up admitted that 365 Underwear still needed some work. But he had this gut feeling that the company would thrive better on its own, independent and kicking butt in the market. Gotta respect that kind of confidence, right? But it's even sadder when the sharks do invest, but your product fails. The inventor of the breathometer knows that pain. Charles Michael Yim came up with this little device that you could carry around with you, and it would tell you if you were too drunk to drive. It even worked with your smartphone, so you could blow into it and find out if you were over the legal limit for alcohol. At first, people were super excited about this invention and couldn't wait to get their hands on it. But then, things started to go downhill. The customers who bought the breathometer weren't too happy with how it performed. They soon found out that it wasn't working like it was supposed to, and started asking for their money back because they were so disappointed, even though they had been really excited about it before. Unfortunately, poor Charles couldn't bounce back from all the negative feedback. He just couldn't come up with a better version of the gadget to compete with other similar products out there. So eventually, the company had to close its doors for good. It was a real bummer for Charles, especially with the Federal Trade Commission getting involved and investigating the whole situation. And to top it all off, the breathometer got some seriously low ratings from customers. It was just one big mess, and the company couldn't recover from it. So there you have it, folks. From the breathometer, checking your blood alcohol level, to Toy Guru, a Netflix-like subscription for toys, those were the most insane fails from Shark Tank.